Hello everyone, my name is Trevor Slescu and I'm the owner of Monster Hobbies in High River, Alberta, Canada. We started the business in 2004 in the Blackfoot Flea Market, and we had taken over a collectibles store that was owned by our friend John Harries. Now Mr. Harries had a lot of stuff in his collection, so when we thought of the original Monster Hobbies, we were looking at picture books of Electric Frankenstein, the rock and roll band, and their poster art and the artists that drew it, and we kind of wanted a sort of a feel for monster type collectible store. And using the product that we got from John and some other things, we designed up our store in the flea market and we called it Monster Hobbies. And we had a slogan back then. It was Monster Hobbies, digging up the strange and unusual, because we wanted to have this idea that we were going to these exotic places and digging up old model kits and wonderful things like that. The flea market, we lasted there for about a year and a half, and our business started growing from there. So we expanded down into High River because we had just bought a house. It was about 2003. We had our house built, actually. And we wanted to be closer to the store because I had a 72 Oldsmobile with a little bit of carburetor trouble, and it was costing $500 a month to drive from High River up to Calgary. So that was a huge expense. So we settled on the town of High River, and at the time there was a lot of people that just really didn't have anything to do. So we provided them the extra, the hobby end. And our store sort of started evolving into games because people out here were playing card games and hero clicks. This is 2004. And from there we expanded a little store we had in the back alley on 2A Avenue. And we went across the street and spent 7 years in 127 3rd Avenue, which is still on Google Maps. I don't understand, because we've gone through a lot of changes with the flood, and now we're at Unit 42B, 11th Avenue, Southeast in High River, Alberta, Canada. And this is a big, big store. You got to check this out. There's 1,500 square feet. It's the biggest I've been in a long time. Like originally on 3rd Avenue, we were at 1,800 square feet, but we had to downsize. But now we're actually pretty large, and we're able to sustain this. On June 19th, 2013, our entire town was hit with a massive flood, one of the largest recorded floods in Alberta history. My own personal store was hit with 5 feet of water, and as a result of all the water pressure, walls in the building were actually compromised. They collapsed, broken in half, and a lot of our old product, like model trains and that, which I tried to build really big, were washed out, as well as Magic the Gathering cards, Warhammer models, you name it. Anything that was on the floor and 5 feet up was basically destroyed. So after the flood, we changed our focus from digging up the strange and unusual and just being basically a collector store, because our store had kind of gone into that direction of being everything it could be for games. So in our new location, we're able to encourage those games. We have 1,500 square feet wide open. There's a big slot car racing track. We race on Wednesday nights. We've got 2 tables, one 4x6, one 5x5. This is for playing war games, any kind of war games, Warhammer, Warhammer 40K, Rapid Fire, it's a World War II game. You could come in and play Bolt Action, you could play Flames of War, anything that's based on a tabletop game. And finally, we've got 3 large card tables, folding card tables. That's for Magic the Gathering. Coming in, building models. I'm trying to promote items in the community for the schools and the scout programs. So like building, getting some of your scout badges, building Cub cars. I've got a few Pine cars from the States that are in here. We do free model kit days where you come in and build stuff. We do painting days for Warhammer. Really a community thing. And look for these in your school handouts. You know, every once in a while I'll put something in there for you that'll say, come on down and check out this model, or come on down and see how we play Warhammer, or come get some free Magic cards, play a little mini Magic game. Promotional items. I would say that the town of High River has been very supportive for my business since the days of the flood. Right away, right from the get-go, after we cleared our building out downtown from the devastation there, I went and I talked with the town hall at the time. I don't know if the same people are there, but I talked to the town hall at the time, and I asked them if I could temporarily open up a little miniature Monster Hobbies down in my basement of my house, because after the flood, the zoning for where commercial business could be and all the rest of that stuff, it was completely at ground zero, devastation and everything. So I got a temporary permit to run out of my business in the basement, which lasted for a couple of months. But it was enough just to sort of get me a little bit back on my feet and get things started again, and to let people know that Monster Hobbies was still going to be around, and that we were out there for them. Wanted to keep our little community and our customers just rolling along until we could get an idea of what was going to be happening with the town and where to go. So then after that time period, the town had arranged with Spruce Meadows, the equestrian place up in Calgary there. It's world known. I mean, this is Spruce Meadows. So Spruce Meadows and the town worked on an arrangement to help us with little booths at one of their events. And that was a good weekend. And we got sort of on the map that, hey, High River is still here, and all the businesses, local businesses, they're still trying to get things going, so come on down and see us at Spruce Meadows. And it was really successful. And I thank the town and Spruce Meadows for that opportunity. It was wonderful. After that, the town got sprung buildings, and that was down by the Museum of the Highwood, these big temporary sprung buildings. There's still a few around town, not at that location anymore. That got closed down. And the town helped us with manageable rents and these little, I think there was 500 square feet, something like that. But again, it was a town saying, our businesses are still here, and here they are. And I was part of that initial group. And yeah, it let things grow and move along. We moved down here above Mike's Transmission, Unit 42B, 11th Avenue, Southeast High River. And this is where we've been for almost 2 years. It's August. April will be the 2-year mark, April 2016. The mayor's been helping the town rebuild, getting a new focus, a new look for what our downtown's going to be. Right now there's a lot of traffic and construction. It's understandable. We're rebuilding the city. I mean, the town. We want it to be a city. We want it to fill out, and this is his dream of where we're going to go with it. And it looks good, you know, and it'll look better once all the bulldozers and the streets have been finished and everything. So check it out. And we're looking into getting into board games. I've got new wholesalers that cater to that sort of thing. So board games, I'll be able to get card sleeves. All this coming in time. I just started with these wholesalers, and you know, money flow is in and out. So bigger stuff, get more established, get things going, and eventually this store will be huge. And part of that expansion I'm going to show you in just a minute here. So this is where I want to see Monster Hobbies going in the next few months, to become bigger and better, more polished, more exciting. And so check this out. So here I am at the bottom of the stairs in the downstairs building, and it's quite an interesting building. It's got a back room over here. There's a desk and a chair, a little storage area here. And bathroom. And you come around here and there's a big area for us. So what I'm thinking is, you can put all the wargaming tables and the card tables in here, this big area. Get a new sink and counter. Put a refrigerator into that corner. Get a food license maybe. And then over here, along this wall, well, there's all the plugs. I could have a vending machine, 4 of them, each with different things. And then I've got storage here. Yeah, so as you can see, it's quite a decent sized area. Better turn off the lights. It's quite a decent sized area, so there's lots of things that we could do here. But primarily I'm thinking of an area for the war gamers and the card gamers, and then upstairs would be strictly all the model kits and the slot car track. So that's sort of my thoughts of the expansion. So there's a few people that I'd like to thank. First off are my customers who have been loyal and helping me throughout all these years growing my business and coming in and playing at the game nights and having fun and all those sort of things. And the guys that I've known throughout the years in the clubs, like wargaming clubs and model car clubs and military guys that I meet at big shows down in Atten, and people online, and everybody really helped to try to get me back together. So during those flood days, so I'd like to thank you for all the things that you've done. And then there's like my wholesalers and the bigger factories that I deal with and order stuff from. They were a big help during the flood, because there's a few policies out there that they had that were, because when in the 90s, when the internet first started coming in and people were shopping online and eBay and all those places started up, a lot of the big companies, the wholesalers that we deal with in the hobby world, they were a little bit leery because they were afraid that us, the hobby retailer, would be crushed out on internet sales. So they set up a thing where if you had a brick and mortar store, they could supply you with items. Now that was, wow, 10, 15 years ago. So when the flood happened, I ended up being a little guy in a house for a while. But a lot of these wholesalers and the factories, they supported me through that time until I could get back on my feet and get it back into a brick and mortar store, because it was a temporary thing. I mean, this was a global devastation that was covered around the world. So they kind of worked with me on that, and I'd like to thank them for that, because that kept me rolling when I was just kind of went from like a big store and got squashed down into like just a guy in his basement, and then slowly ticked back up to actually a bigger store now. So I'd like to thank everybody for that, because that was a big help, a big crutch, to get me through. And hey, it worked, and here I am back up and running. So again, thank you everyone.